In this short video, I will demonstrate how to find all of the Nash equilibria in a game. So let's consider the following game between Haynes and Champion. They're both trying to decide what price to charge for a t-shirt. The payoffs and profits in the payoff matrix below are in millions of dollars. So I want you to notice that Haynes and Champion both have 3 strategies. These are price strategies. They can each decide to set a price of $8, $6, or $4. Our goal here is to find all the Nash equilibria of this game. If you see this word Equilibria, that's just the plural of equilibrium. It means that we are looking potentially for more than one. The way we're going to answer this question is we're going to ask ourselves repeatedly, what would I do if? And we're going to highlight, you can box, you can circle, you can underline. We're going to indicate which strategies each player would follow in each circumstance. And any box where both payoffs are highlighted will be an equilibrium. So let's start with Haynes. We ask ourselves this: what would Haynes do if they thought Champion was going to charge a price of $8? So I focus on the Champion column and we identify the strategy that yields the highest payoff. So if Champion chooses $8, Haynes can choose 8 and get a payoff of 20. They can choose $6 and get a payoff of 22. Or they can choose $4 and get a payoff of 19. So just so we're clear, I'm looking at these numbers, I'm comparing them, and I'm picking the highest, which is clearly 22, and I'm going to highlight that number. Now, I do the same thing, except I say, if I'm Haynes, what would I do if I thought Champion was going to charge a price of $6? So I compare these prices, 18, 17, and 15. I pick the highest one, 18. So what we're doing here is we're identifying the sort of payoff maximizing response to each potential strategy of our competitor. So if Haynes thinks Champion is going to charge $8, their payoff maximizing response is a price of $6. If they think that Champion is going to set a price of $6, their payoff maximizing response is a price of $8. We have one more to fully describe Haynes and their payoff maximizing responses. If they think Champion is going to choose a price of $4, they compare 10, 16, and 14, and they pick the highest, which is 16. So Haynes would choose to set a price of $6 if they thought Champion was going to charge a price of $4. So I've mapped out the sort of price strategies and payoffs associated with them that Haynes would follow in each possible circumstance in the game. Then we do the same thing for Champion. We ask ourselves, what should I do if I think Haynes is going to set a price of $8? The comparison can be a little bit more challenging here. We're comparing 20, 22, and 20. Why are we comparing across the columns? Because Champion is in charge of choosing the column. So we compare across the columns and we observe that a price of 6 yields the highest payoff. So we're going to highlight that 22. So we've already identified a Nash equilibria. Haynes charges a price of $8, Champion charges a price of $6, but we're not done. Now we ask ourselves, what should Champion do if Haynes charges a price of $6? Again, we compare across the columns, 18 to 17 to 15. It should be clear 18 is the highest. So if Champion is thinking that Haynes is going to charge a price of $6, then their payoff maximizing response is to charge a price of 8 and get a payoff of 18. So now we have another Nash equilibrium. Let's finish things off and then we'll formalize the results. Final step, we ask ourselves, I'm Champion, what should I do if I think Haynes is going to charge a price of $4? In this case, again, we compare across columns 10 to 16 to 14. It's clear that the payoff maximizing response for champion is to set a price of $6 and get a payoff of 16. So let's erase these circles and highlight that 16. So this game has two Nash equilibria. The first is Haynes sets a price of 8 and champion responds by setting a price of 6. It's this one right here. And the second Nash equilibrium is Haynes sets a price of 6 and champion responds by setting a price of 8. That's this one right here. So we've used this sort of, I think our textbook calls it a box and circle method. I learned it as underlining. I've demonstrated it as highlighting. The point is that you indicate the payoffs associated with the sort of optimal strategies, and any box where both payoffs are marked is in fact a Nash equilibrium.